Yeah, well, the video was supposed to be called "The Importance of Making Connections," but every time I would do the voice chat, it wasn't working for some reason and froze up. So yeah, so I talked about another video a while back, and it kind of did like a 7-day challenge or whatever I ended up doing, and I'm sure no one did it, but um, I think it's really important that you know you have to reach out to and make connections with contractors that would be able to supply you business, right? And like, there's a lot of things going against us. Like, you have the obviously the economy is starting to slow down. They have the interest rates rising, so that's going to increase. It increases. Hopefully, this is working. All right, it's gone. So, with the lack of buying the homes, then what ends up happening is, like, that first year, they're spending a shit ton of money, and like, we don't, not able to sell to them at that point. But then on the flip side, like, some people that don't end up moving might end up looking to fix up their own home. But anyway, with this wholesale that I'm doing, if we weren't reaching out to customers, we wouldn't be able to, like, get any work from them, right? And it's pretty much the same thing that I should have did with the fence company. Like, I should have did it. I didn't focus on building relationships. Focus on really anything except for Google My Business and running ads, right? And that does work to an extent, but when you have these other companies that are like, going to their customer and saying, "Hey, you should try, use so and so. They're a great company." You're going to end up booking a hell of a lot more jobs because of that. And a lot of times you can book them for even more money than what you normally charge, right? And it's kind of like having a whole, this army of people selling for you, right? But I don't think, and also, like, what I'm doing with these contractors, it's not always like, "Hey, buy for me, buy for me, buy for me." It's, here's some information for you. Here's like a fence calculator tool we use. Here's something else to make your life easier. Here's something that works for my company. Maybe it'll work for yours as well. Because you're not constantly selling. Like, the whole Gary Vaynerchuk, his book is kind of like on this, one of his books, it's jab, 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 right hook. And it's kind of more or less like give, 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 ask, right? And it's super important. It's really, really important. If you're not doing this, especially this time of year, especially with everything that we're kind of going to be up against, like, you're going to be in some trouble. I really do think that. So, every day, make it a point. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend your entire day reaching out to people, but just reach out to, like, start with one person a day and then get up to like maybe two and three people a day. And like, after a month, you're gonna see a drastic increase in your business. Like, you just are. And there's a handful of people that I've been reaching out to, and like, they may not order for me right away, but like, I, reach out to them. A lot of them are, coming back like 2 and 3 weeks later, and then they're putting in their first order. So I think it's something that has to be done. Like, I'm really worried about this recession and what's going to happen to the other, to the contractors and stuff. And it's reason why we started the wholesale, is just to make sure there's multiple revenue streams coming in. And I really do think if you don't do this kind of stuff, unless you've been in business for like 50 years, or you have a ton of word of mouth and you're booked out for a year as is, like, if you're only booked out a handful of weeks, like, chances are, come wintertime, like, when people stop spending money in general, and then you throw in like everything else on top of it, like, it's not going to be fun. Like, it's just not going to be. So spend the time now, put in the effort. What you can do, if you are interested, it's not a service I'm offering, but there's a guy that I use on Fiverr to basically scrape Google My Business list for me. I've used a handful of people. He's really, really good, and it's inexpensive. Hundreds of leads for like 10, like, whatever area of business that you're in. He can only target Google My Business, but if you're looking for other general contractors or pool companies or whatever it ends up being, he can get them for you. Like, and it's cheap. It takes like, 2 days for you to get the leads, but I think I forget what it is, like 500 leads for like $10, and then you get typically their It depends who it is, but if you're getting landscapers, a lot of them don't have an email attached to it, but you'll get their phone number, so then you can just call and try to build up their relationships. You will get the addresses as well. I've tried mailing out first, but honestly, most of them come back and get rejected. So you don't really want to mail something. Plus, it takes more effort. Literally, just get on the phone or text them and say, hey, just try to build some kind of relationship. So that's all I got for today. I'm just seeing it more and more within the business because what we do. And every time I reach out to a handful of people, I always, not a lot of people answer, maybe only 10 or 20% answer. But there's 10 or 20%, like you start talking to them, build a relationship, and you just reach out on a weekly basis, like, yo, how's business? This is what we're seeing. This is what you're seeing. And if you just try to provide more value than what you're receiving, you're going to end up making out, in the long term. It's more of a long-term play. It's, instead of trying to be hardcore sales and just, that kind of thing. But over time, it's really going to help. And the other thing to think about is because you're reaching out to these, whoever these contractors are, they constantly have new business coming in. So that's constantly new potential customers that they can refer your way. And it's the same thing for my own fence company. We spend all this time and effort on these one-off jobs, and like they're not going to buy from us for another 10, 15, 20, 30 years, if ever. Whereas these contractors, they're constantly sending in orders. It's going to be the same thing for you. It's like, you want to waste your time with one lead, or do you want to waste your time with, talking to someone that might be able to send you 10 and 20 leads a year? In 5 years, they potentially could send you 50 to 100 to 200 customers. It's possible. So that's all I got. Talk to you later. Have a great day. See you.